Hello, Star Wars unboxing fans. Welcome to another episode of Darth Tuba Star Wars Unboxing Show. I'm your host, Darth Tuba. And today, I am pleased to have not one, but two items. And this one feels like it could be more than two. Or more than one in here. I'm not sure, though. I have to open it up to see. So before we get to this, although I'm a little nervous, because it's like, this is a Walmart delivery. And the Walmart delivery comes in I swear, this is not even more. This is only slightly above just a manila envelope. It's got hardly any padding in it. We'll see. But I do want to bring up this one. If you look back on my episodes from right before the holidays, I found this at Five Below. I was on my way home from my church gig on Christmas Eve. I had finished, and just to give you a little backstory of my professional life when I'm not making Darth Tuba videos for fun. I am a music educator, music teacher in a high school, orchestra director, marching band director, musical director. I do shows with community theaters, and I do church music on the side. I have a church music gig every Sunday. Well, for a life of a musician during the holidays is very fun and joyful and exciting, but it's also very hard. There's a lot of work. It's a lot of extra hours. It's our busy season, as you might think, between concerts and caroling and all the things that we do, both for fun and for pay for our jobs. There's a lot that goes on. So for me, the way my life works is that the last official gig, the last official performance, the last official thing for me to do, my last professional responsibility before I take a break for a week and a half, is my Christmas Eve service. I go to my church, I play my piano, sometimes I bring out other instruments, maybe I'll bring a group of players in and play with them, but when that ends, my performance and professional responsibilities are over. So there's a big wave of relief, and I get in my car and I drive home, and then starts my holiday season. So this year, we were just getting back to normal, so to speak, with the COVID and everything and post-pandemic. And we finished, and I went to drive home, but I realized I forgot something that I was going to need. We were traveling the next day to go down to Florida to visit our daughter, and I realized I forgot a charging cable or something that I needed to find. So my service ended at like 5:30 p.m., and I left after saying, Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas to everybody. I was leaving about 5:45. There was a Five Below right down the street. So I stopped there, was able to find my charger, and then I went quickly looking through the little toy section to see if they had any Star Wars items. And I was so excited. I can't tell you how excited I was that Katan, I call it the cheap Black Series version of Katan, was hanging from the pegs. And why was I so excited? Well, I was excited because I have a very strong affinity for Star Wars as it relates to the Christmas season. I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and the Christmas season was all about, for me and all kids my age, what Star Wars goodness was going to be under the tree. Now, I'm not talking about, look, I was a musician too. I played in church. I understood the true meaning of Christmas and all that stuff. So please don't think that I didn't. But I was also a kid, and I do have a nostalgic love of that time. And that was my key points. All right, 6 years old to like 12 years old, right when the Star Wars movies were coming out. So every one of those years, both birthdays and Christmas, were surrounded by at least some Star Wars. Not huge. I didn't get everything, but I did get, a couple of figures and stockings, and I got a couple of play sets and, that kind of thing. And it was just a very joyous time, and I still have all those things to this day. I had a very strong connection to them. So to go into it, and then fast forward 20 years later, and I'm out, as I'm a father. I have a daughter who's, getting excited for Christmas as well, and I like to go Christmas shopping. We didn't go crazy with her. She didn't even like that many toys, but it was fun to get one thing here, one thing there. She didn't really like Star Wars. Actually, she did like some Star Wars, so we did pick up some things. But so it was very nostalgic in that sense too. Now my daughter's fully grown and an adult, so for me, it's more like just walking into a store and seeing Star Wars on the shelves on Christmas Eve just had a very magical thing. So I found this, and I was supposed to do an unboxing of it a few episodes ago, closer to the holidays, but I couldn't find it. I had put it under my tree upstairs, and I think that when we left to go away early the next morning on Christmas morning, I think my wife must have taken anything that was under the tree because we had a cat and put the stuff like up high so the cat wouldn't be able to get into it. No, not to worry. We had a cat sitter coming in. We didn't abandon the cat for a few days, but still we didn't want the cat to get into it. So that's why. But I found it. We just put all of our Christmas stuff away, and lo and behold, there was Bo-Katan. So let's get right to the unboxing of Bo-Katan. Now, I have to say that, I don't think I'm going to have a long-term connection with these figures like I did with, these are to me reminiscent of when Hasbro, these are plastic-free packaging again, when Hasbro made the return to the 5 POA, 5 points of articulation figures, and they did that for all of like the Last Jedi and Solo and all those figures. So that was, to me, kind of a nostalgic kick to see to have those 5 POA figures, but a little bit more detailed. Some complained about it because they said that, that the problem with those is that they're kind of, they don't really they're not really reminiscent of the retro figures. So we kind of like having more articulation. So they kind of dropped that idea. But for Black Series, they have come up with what I guess I'm going to call affectionately, 3 POA. Oh, 4 POA. Not 5. 4. So we have Bo-Katan here, and she swivels, so there's 1. Her head turns, that's 2. Right arm, left arm. No legs. Legs are completely 100%. They're not even bendable. They're just solid. The entire bottom half does not move. So why is that? I don't. I was thinking about, from an adult perspective, yeah, it's great to be able to, I'm too high to see if I can I have a box here from my last episode. Let me, it's great to be able to have, this looks like an uneven thing here. Come on. There we go. It's great to be able to display them, all right, and line them all up. But what if you want them to kneel or sit or anything? Even like a vintage figure could at least bend the legs. So I'm wondering how much. I also wanted to know, she is very violent. Her guns are permanently glued. Stick them up. This is a stick up. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I question the play value of having completely stationary legs. Or sorry, is it stationary? Movable? No, stationary. I couldn't get my words right. I question that. I don't know. But again, it's cheap toys. They're, I mentioned this early on. It's Hasbro, Disney, their answer to bootleg. Why should we allow a bootleg, or why should we let bootleg figures run the market and be cheaply made when we can do a better job of making them look more and have the right licensed, we can set some level of quality control, but keep it at a way low price tag. This was $5, and you can even find it cheaper sometimes if you go to places like CVS, which is like a drugstore. So whatever you think, but I just have this thing, they do have first of all, getting it on Christmas Eve had me nostalgic for my, Christmas past. The ghost of Christmas past visited me when I was walking around Five Below and I saw this. And I also wonder, the other thing I was pointing out is that this thing is hardly painted. Look at this. It's like gray, all like the chest, arms, there's a little bit of brown, a little bit of blue accents in the head, but look at the back. They didn't even go for the backpack or the holsters. They only painted the front of the holster. They didn't paint the back. This is really, 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 really done cheaply. So I don't know. Again, I just picked these up almost out of fascination, But they will probably find their way into the yard sale been the Star Wars yard sale that'll happen. If not this year, then in a future year. So we'll see. But there we go. But again, I'm all for the plastic packaging because I'm about to put this in my recycling bin. So kudos. A lot of people get upset at Hasbro for that. Not me. I mean, especially since they brought the vintage, they're allowing vintage to exist without it. But I'm not upset about it. I think they're right to do that, and they're being responsible. So, okay. Now I thought this might be a double vintage collection figure. I was wrong. It was not. It is actually Boba Fett from The Mandalorian. Boba Fett from Tython. Okay, he's got his. So this is like when we first see him don the outfit. I don't think this is. It's a wider figure. I think, but I am going to open it because I absolutely loved this scene in The Mandalorian when Boba Fett showed up, like looking like Boba Fett again. And I don't know, some people, well, you're not going to, with everything being the way it is now, you're not going to have everybody love everything that comes out. And that's okay. We've talked about that. But except me. Because I absolutely loved it. Why did I love it? What wasn't to love? I mean, it was exciting. It was telling, further adventures. It was like, there is a great meme that's been going around, and it shows it's probably like an old photo of two boys playing with Star Wars toys back in the 80s, 70s or 80s, and then it shows, and then the words are Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, writing the next Star Wars TV show. Now, I get the humor on that, I do, but I also see it as a bit of truth. I mean, this is what they're saying is that so much of what we've been seeing in the Favreau Filoni universe is just a tribute to our childhoods. Those of us who were kids when the stuff came out. I'm trying to get this blaster. Come on, dude. Come on. Jeez. One of these things that once I get it on, I'm never taking it off. All right, there it is. Okay, I got to get him to go a little bit more sideways. All right. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a little bit. I'm going to just leave it down like that. All right, so before we get to the rest of this thing, there's this realistic face sculpt with his damaged, scarred face there. And then, of course, great helmet technology. There it is. Okay, and then, of course, we got to get his backpack on. Now, will this fit? Yeah, that goes. So cool. Loved it. Oh, that first scene when you see him, looking down, you're looking up at him, and you kick the butt of those stormtroopers. And I know there are some people that think they wanted him to be ruthless, and they wanted him to be completely ruthless and cunning and evil. I don't think Boba Fett was evil at all. I think Boba Fett was just like his father, a simple man making his way in the universe. And, he would just take the job where they came, So that's my take on it. I love this character. I thought the Boba Fett show was pretty good. I'm actually very good. But there were moments. I mean, that I understood some people didn't like the whole flashback thing. It didn't bother me. I mean, I'm all for just telling the story right from. I thought they could have told the story right from him climbing out of the Sarlacc and then just going through life like that and just leading up to when he meets Mandalorian, but or even past that, or when he meets Fennec Shan or whatever. So, but whatever. I mean, it's fine that they did it the way they did it. I guess, I was brought up with The Godfather Part 2, where they told two completely different stories just relating to one Corleone and the father Corleone that just kind of went along all the way through. So there you go. Anyway, So I think I got off on a tangent there. I apologize. And I'm getting old, so it's hard, but to remember where to leave off. So anyway, I just absolutely love. So that picture, yeah, the picture was Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau playing with planning out their next Star Wars movie. And you know what? We're all there for it. At least people my age are. Why? Because it's exactly what we did. We had all of these toys in our big bin, and we would take them out, and we would just have some big adventure. So that's exactly what we're living now. We're living the passive version of this, or in the case of us adult collectors, partially passive, partially active, because we can now get and recreate images and scenes from these great shows. So I just absolutely love it, and I love the return of Boba Fett, and I love that he had a character arc, that he grew and changed and did something different, and I didn't feel that he became a total good guy, but I felt he wasn't a villain either. He was just trying to make his way in the universe and trying to help others do the same, which I think is kind of like, sometimes I think villainy, scum and villainy can be a little bit too two-dimensional. It needs to have more sides to it, and I like what they did with this. So that'll do it for this episode of Darth Tuba Star Wars Unboxing Show. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification, all that other stuff. And we will see you next time. And until then, may the Force and the toys be with you.